Life Stories Live.
George, thank you, Alan, and thank you, Chantell. Listen, Chantell, can I have a pint of what you're on, please?
Oh, what, sorry?
Can I have a pint of what you're on?
It's called the Holy Spirit.
Excellent. Now, you said, I love, by the way, thank you so much for your wonderful story. I mean, you've packed so much into such a short life, and yet I love the title of your book, Beauty for Ashes.
Yeah.
First question on that one, who would you like to play the lead role in your movie?
I don't know. I've been thinking about that, to be honest, and I really don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. I haven't thought about that. I've
What
been
about
thinking
doing
about
it,
the
what about doing it
movie.
yourself?
Sorry?
What about doing it yourself?
Um, Do you know what? It's really mad you said that because I'm actually just recently starred in some Christian film. It's not come out yet, but I'm actually dreading seeing my acting. I'm, I'm actually dreading seeing my acting, but who knows? It might be good, but I could start myself, or my daughter could be the young me because my daughter looks just like me and she's 19.
Excellent. Now, just tell us a little bit about the book. You said one day you were going to write a book, you were determined. Tell us
Yeah.
a bit how the book came about, please.
So when I first got saved, I just started writing, and it was so difficult to write because it's one way feeling something, but then it's another thing actually seeing it on paper that I'm actually writing these feelings down. So there were a lot of tears. There were a lot of things that I didn't want to put in the book, but I had to. Um, and for 10 years, I was just writing slowly. But then in 2017, I I just decided, you know what, it's time to finish the book now. And so I finished it, and then it was published on the 14th of Feb 2018. But I'm currently doing a second edition at the moment. It's being proofread again because I feel like the person that proofread it initially, it wasn't as proofread and as finely proofread as I wanted. And
Hmm.
also I want to change my front cover. It's really strange, right? I'm going to tell you this quick story. When God gave me the desire to start writing years ago, I had a dream because I have a lot of spiritual dreams. I have a lot of dreams, like encounters and all sorts when I'm sleeping. And I remember I had a dream about my book, and God had given me the front cover. I remember seeing the front cover, and then I thought, right, that's my front cover. But then when I actually published my book, I didn't do the same front cover that I believe God had given me. And then about a year and a half later, I was saying to God, like, Lord, you promised that this book was going to become a film. Like, what's happened? And I felt so strongly in my spirit that God was saying I'd been disobedient with my cover. But that was that. 2 weeks later, this is no word of a lie, I had someone contact me and say, hi, Chantell, your book's doing amazing, but I really think that it can reach more people. But what I would like to do first is I would like to pay someone to do your front cover. And I was like,
Wow.
this is God. And so when I gave them the idea of what I'd initially saw in the dream, they actually sent me some pictures recently, and I started crying because I was like, that's exactly what. So right now it's being proofread, and then the front cover is going to be changed, and then the second edition is going to come out in the next month or two. So yeah,
Wow, fantastic.
and then
Well,
it will be a film because I've been obedient this time.
excellent. Now, there's lots and lots of stuff obviously to go in the book, of course, and the film. But
Yeah,
you started very young. I mean, you used the expression many times, no hope. There was when you didn't have your first dad and you had your second dad, there was no hope. You had the abusive relationship, there was no hope. You went to the lap dancing club, there was no hope. How
yeah.
did you continue to keep going in all of that no hope period?
I honestly don't know how I kept going. I can only say that God must have been my strength, even though I wasn't aware. Because, like I said, I didn't want to live, but it was the fear of death that kept me
Hmm.
from committing suicide or from dying. But it was the fear of death. And I was having, like I said, I was having very like strange dreams. So I had a dream just before I got saved where I was in a room, and I was standing like, like Jesus was on the cross. And I remember having two invisible forces, and one was pulling me one way and one was pulling me the other. And I remember knowing in the dream that one was God and one was Satan. And the next part of the dream, I was under all this mud, and my whole body shot up out of this mud into this blue sky. And I woke up saying these words, Thank you, God, for showing me the way. You gave me the chance to live another day. I was saying those words as I was waking up. I just kept
Wow,
saying them over and over again. That's one dream. I've had so many dreams like that, even before I was a Christian.
excellent.
Yeah,
And
so God was always with me.
in all of this time, you, of course, you were very young. 5, of course, when you met your stepdad, and he left after 7 years. And then, of course, how was the relationship with your mother in all of this time?
My relationship with my mum was great, but she didn't understand. She didn't know what was going on with me because I was getting a lot in trouble a lot at school, and I feel sad now when I think about what my mum must have gone through because she probably just felt beside herself, like, what's going on with my daughter?
Hmm.
But she didn't know, and I didn't know at the time. But my relationship with my mum was great and is still great. We've got such a great relationship. Yeah, we're really, really close.
I mean, I don't think I would have liked to have met you in school. I mean, did you have kind of an attitude? You looking at me or what? Is that
Yeah,
kind of attitude?
I had such a bad attitude. And also, I think a lot of the time, the reason why I was getting bullied by the girls in school is because I would be like, yeah, your boyfriend wants me. And I was that kind of person because
Okay.
I was such a hurt. I was hurting so much. I wanted other people to hurt as well. So I was quite nasty. I was not who I am now. I'm a completely different person.
Now you said, of course, grew close to your stepdad, and you really liked being with him, and then he moved out, and he was going to Canada. And how did you feel like when he left and went to Canada?
It hurt because he said he would call us every day.
Hmm.
And the fact that he didn't, it was just, I feel like that was more painful for me
Hmm.
than my own dad leaving because I built this relationship with someone that I thought loved me. And like I said, I actually, as a child, in my innocence, I felt like he was my hero.
Hmm.
And so I'd think like, if anything happened in this life, I know he will protect me. That's how I felt because I felt like he was just like this superhero and he will protect me. So to have that mindset and then him leave and not contact us, it was devastating for me.
And how did you deal with it?
I didn't. I just went, like I said, I just went, then became promiscuous, just
All
searching
right.
for this male voice in men. I didn't deal with it. I didn't deal with it at all. I just cried all the time and just felt like I was the reason that, he left and my dad left.
Hmm. And when you were growing up in school, I mean, were there other girls in the same position as you, or was it just you the way you went?
Well, the way I was, I think I was like, I think there were other people, but I was probably not the worst. But because I'm so like bubbly, it's more
Hmm.
noticeable because of me, because I was more like out there and bubbly and stuff. But I wasn't living a great life as in school, and the other girls kind of like thought to themselves, like, gosh, why is she like this?
Hmm.
And I didn't really have much friends either in school because people didn't really like me.
I mean, you said you were attacked at one stage by 30 girls. Did you end up in hospital after that?
No, so when that happened, I was at a bus stop in the city centre and these girls attacked me. This was one of many times that they attacked me. And they bit my face, and my face was actually like hanging. I don't think I went to the
Wow.
hospital, I can't remember. But I remember the police coming, but then they all got off with it all. And I was going through a lot. The police were always at us, was constantly writing statements. My mum and I constantly because I was getting attacked so many times
Hmm.
to the point that my mum wanted to try and get a move to London. And she wanted to move to London because she didn't think that, I'd be fine in Birmingham, but I didn't want to leave Birmingham. I guess
Okay,
I wasn't I guess I wasn't supposed to now when I think about it, but yeah,
you
my mum
also
was
said
really
that at
scared.
that stage you suffered from a lot of anxiety and panic attacks. I mean, what would you say to somebody who's going through something like that now? How what to do about them?
So with my panic attacks, they were so bad. It was just like not having control. But sometimes we're not supposed to have control. our lives should be like the control should, when it comes to our lives, the control should be given to God. And I can honestly say that God has completely healed me of these things. Like I was going through like anxiety, OCD, panic attacks, all these different things. But when I came to know God, He started to heal me and started to
Mm-hmm.
heal me of these things. So it's really important also to get help, because
Mm-hmm.
if someone has panic attacks, anxiety, there is help and support out there as well. There's things like cognitive behavioral therapy, which teaches you how to think about this panic attack, teaches you how to breathe properly. So the help is out there. I'm definitely an advocate for people getting that help, because God has put that help out there for people as
Mm-hmm.
well. But the Lord just completely healed me.
Excellent. So you said you did all this, most of it actually, to try to fill a void, and you said you still prayed. How did you know to pray?
So I didn't mention my dad's mom, my nan, she was a Christian.
Okay.
She's the only Christian that I knew, my dad's mom. And she's the one that kind of used to force me to go to Sunday school when I was a kid. And there'd be times where I'd be at my nan's house and I'd hear her praying. And I'd go to bed at 9 and she'd start praying. And I'd wake up
Wow.
at 3 in the morning and she'll still be praying. And I'd be thinking, well, this lady, just be quiet. But I honestly feel like her prayers is what kept my life, because she's the
Mm-hmm.
only Christian that, I knew, and I believe that she saw after God for all of our lives. And I even told her about some of the weird dreams that I used to have, and she'd pray on the phone with me. But I don't know, just from a kid, I just kind of knew that there was a God. I don't know how, I just knew that there was somebody there, but I just didn't know him, but I'd still speak to him sometimes as a child.
Yeah, you did mention that you used to go to Sunday school on the bus and stuff like that, but you said you hated church. Why is it that you hated church so much?
Because I didn't feel like I related to anyone. And that's why I said it's so important to share our stories, because many people, even in churches, will pretend that they have it all together.
Mm-hmm.
And then people come in from the world and believe that, I don't fit in with these people because they've got it all together and their lives are perfect, not realizing that we have struggles too. And so me going to church when I was a kid, I just didn't relate to anybody. I felt like no one related to me. I just felt like everyone looked perfect and my life wasn't. So I didn't relate. But church isn't supposed to be like that.
Mm-hmm.
We're supposed to let people know that, we don't have it all together. If we did, we wouldn't need Jesus. And it's really important for people that are coming in off the streets to see that they can come into church. I have a friend that when she got saved, she said that she said that she used to be a lap dancer as well. And when she came into church, she would have her arms showing and people would be looking down their nose like, why you got your arms showing? And she's thinking to herself, I literally just came out of the strip club and I'm covered up and this is covered to me, but I'm being judged. So it's about not judging, because those people that we may judge, we don't know that God may raise that person up to be,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, who they can then minister to us. So we need to not look down our nose at anyone, because God can change anybody's life.
Speaking of looking down the noses, I mean, it was 2008, you said, March 29th, you said you had to go to church. Did you actually go to church in your lap dancing gear?
No, I didn't. I didn't go my lap dancing. No, I went home and I got changed quickly, and then I went to church. But the way I looked then, I don't know. I used to have false eyelashes on every single day. I couldn't do without them. I had lip piercing, I had tongue piercing. So that's how I went into church, with like piercings and eyelashes and long extensions.
Did you have
and
the
all
nails
these.
as well? The nails?
I've still got the nails. The nails ain't going anywhere. I love my nails, but yeah, I had the long hair and false eyelashes and piercings and all of that. God literally had to do a real work in me, because I literally don't even look like how I did when I first got saved. I think I look younger now than I did back then.
So when you did go to church, did you feel that people were looking at you, or did you feel, out of place? How did it
And
work
that,
for you?
on that day, I didn't care. Like, I was just there for Jesus. Just brought me there for him.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say that a few years later, I met these girls that were Christians, and I became really friendly with them. And then they knew a boy that knew my past. And at this point, I still hadn't shared my story.
Right.
And I remember he sat with them and told them all about me. And then all these girls just stopped talking to me.
Wow.
And then I think to myself now that it's a good thing that my relationship was with God.
Mm-hmm.
Because if my relationship was with people, I would have left church. But because I built that relationship with the Lord and I knew that my salvation came through him, that bothered me, but it didn't affect me to the point that I left. Because I know a lot of people do get church hurt and they leave, but they need to, then they have to question whether their relationship is with God or with people. Because really, you know, if people are being like that, they're just people, they're going to fail. But God never fails and he loves us unconditionally. So I don't care. I think even today, even when I share my story, I know that some Christian folk will still think, oh, why is she sharing that? But I share it because it needs to be shared, because people need to know that hope is out there. So I don't feel embarrassed. I don't feel ashamed. I don't really care. I just want to give God glory.
Excellent. And now you said, of course, God's given you a second chance, because there was a time when you nearly didn't make it, when you were attacked and you were stabbed, literally stabbed in the back.
Yeah.
How, in your mind, or how did that affect you in your mind and in your whole life when that happened to you? Did it make you reflect or what?
At the time, it didn't, because so many things were happening to me in my life anyway. I didn't have time to think about each thing, because first I was getting bullied, then I got stabbed. After getting stabbed, I ended up in an abusive relationship. So I didn't have time to like meditate on what I'd really come through. It's only when I got saved and I gave my life to the Lord that I actually started to think back about the things that I'd been through, and knowing that he saved me when he didn't need to. Like, I could have died in my sin on that day, but just knowing and seeing his love, that he allowed someone to swap coats with me, which saved my life, that shows me his love for me. That shows his unconditional love, that he loves me so much. And that's made me realize that, you know, I'm special in Christ. And that's where my worth came from, knowing that, you know, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I am loved by the God who created me. And that's what helped me to start to understand my worth and who I truly was, just knowing and seeing God's love for me.
I love the expression that you used. You said, God found me where I was. Okay? Now, you've used the word saved several times. For somebody who's not a Christian, can you just explain to us a little bit what it means about being saved?
So being saved, when I say God found me, so I'll cover that part first. I'm talking about, like, most people feel like they have to physically be in a church building to give their lives to Jesus, to surrender their hearts to him. And going to church is the best, like one of the best things that I love, going to church. But before I knew Christ, he met me where I was at. So I came in from the lap dancing club and put my TV on, and God knew that that would be the only way at that point, because I didn't want to go to church. He knew he had to find a way to find me, and he used UCB. And so when I say he met where I'm at, it's just to give others hope. If they're praying for someone, that you may have family members that you're inviting to church constantly and they're like, no, don't want to go to church. But just don't stop praying, because God will meet them where they're at. They may be in their house. They may be in the drug den. They may be in the lap dancing club. They may be lying in someone's bed, living a promiscuous lifestyle. But God can meet them in that moment, in that place. It's God. And then he will do the work. So when I mean saved, I'm just talking about a life that's surrendered to him. He's rescued me from my past and he's given me a new life. But I had to surrender everything, my whole life, to God. And that's what I mean by salvation, by asking the Lord to come into my life and to change my life, and for him to order my life and order my steps, and for me to follow. And he's saved my life, and that's what salvation is to me.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that. Now, of course, you said you were trying to fill the void. You eventually did when you met Jesus, and your life's completely changed now, and you got a second chance. Tell us a little bit about your husband.
My husband, Errol, okay. I'm going to tell this quick story of how I met him.
Is he handsome?
Very handsome. A quick story of how we met. So when I was 19, he was one of the guys that I used to just sleep with.
Okay.
Okay, that lasted a few months, just casual, didn't see him again for 11 years. During these 11 years, I've now become a Christian. During these 11 years, he's now in prison, right?
Okay.
Okay. But then he was doing, like, in his last year of prison, he had a job, so he could go out to work and then go back to prison. So when he was going out to work, he saw me and I said to him, hi. And I told him I'm a Christian now. And he thought to himself, I'm not even going to ask this girl for a number. But what had happened was, whilst he was in prison, he believes that God allowed him to go to prison to stop the noise, because whilst he was in prison, he started reading his Bible.
Wow.
But he didn't put two and two together. So when he saw me, he didn't put two and two together, and he thought, oh, she's a Christian. It scared him. So he didn't ask me for my number. But a week later, he was out again. And he was
Life Stories Live.
He was out on a weekend leave. It's really mad how prisons work. So it was an open prison where he could go to prison, come out, go to work, or stay out for the weekend and go back to prison. It's strange. And he saw me again a week later. And so I thought, I'm going to ask this girl for a number. So I said to him, if you'd like my number, you've got to come to church with me tomorrow. I said, I'm not the same girl that you used to know. I'm not that promiscuous girl anymore. So he came to church with me, and then he went back to prison. Didn't speak to him for a whole year. By this time, he's come out, he's living his lifestyle, he's meeting up with girls. But after 9 months, he had enough, and he contacted me on Facebook, and he says, hi, Shan, I really, really want to change my life. Can I come to church? And so he came to church, and then the rest is history. He gave his life to Jesus, he got baptized, we got married. And so I always say to him, all those years ago, when you was actually using me, because that's exactly what it was, you was using me, God knew that in the future we were going to be married.
Wow.
And we didn't even know. God knew.
And
I'm
happily
like,
married now, of course.
Sorry?
Happily married now, of course.
Happily married. We've married almost 6 years now. We've been together almost 9 years, and we've been married almost 6 years.
And you've got a 2-year-old.
And we've got a 2-year-old, as well as my 19-year-old daughter from the previous.
And what's your son's name?
Lael.
Wow, excellent.
It means belonging to God.
Now, just finishing up here, you said that you were in school, you had a very bad reputation, okay? But now you're going back into schools with a totally different reputation.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about 2020 Dreams.
So 2020 Dreams is like an organisation. The way that happened was completely God. I was praying to the Lord and saying, Lord, I really want to get into schools. Please open the door. The next day I had a text which was forwarded on WhatsApp from someone saying, do you know someone that could go into a school in Birmingham doing healthy relationships? And I thought, wow, this is the next day. This has to be God. And so I contacted them, and I got speaking to the guy. And yeah, he's a Christian as well. And it just worked. It was just amazing. And now I literally just go all over, like London, Leeds, all these different places as part of this organisation, doing these workshops that I actually are familiar with from my own life, but also being able to bring my own story into it. And then I'm having like teachers crying, and, you know, I did one the other day for foster carers on child sexual exploitation. I had foster carers crying and social services, and God has literally taken everything that I've been through and is using it, because nothing is wasted with God.
Amen. And how does that make you feel now, going back into school with that reputation and saying, look, God
I'm
has
just,
changed me?
I can't even explain. I'm just grateful. That's all I can say. I always say to God, Lord, my heart is at a posture of gratitude, because only He did this and God knows why. And like my cousin said to me the other day, God wouldn't send you somewhere, Shan, where you're not going to have an impact.
Mm-hmm.
Wherever He's sending you, it's because He knows you're going to impact someone. And just hearing those words, knowing that what He's done in my life can impact others, knowing where I've come from, it's just amazing. And I can also tell young people that, you know, when I was in school, I was promiscuous and blah, 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 and my life was a mess, but look at my life now. And you know, they're amazed by it and they love it.
Now, apart from the blockbuster Oscar-winning movie you're going to make from your book,
Amen.
what other plans have you got for the future?
So I just want to continue working with young people. I want to do more stuff with women as well. I'm still an ambassador for UCB. That had to slow down because of COVID, but I believe it's going to start back up again soon.
Okay.
I'm doing the school stuff. I'm now a trustee of a charity called Still Waters, which is a Christian charity that supports mothers and fathers that have lost children or babies through either miscarriage or abortion.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a Christian charity. So I've just become a trustee for them as well. So I'll be able to like help make decisions that can possibly impact these people. There's just a lot going on at the moment.
Well,
My books, I'm doing my second part of my book. It will be a film. I'm in a film. I'm just, whatever God wants to do, let Him do it.
amen. Well, we look forward to the film and the book, of course. What is the film that you recently starred in that's not been released yet? What's it called?
It's called Magnet, and it's a Christian film. It's not come out yet. The trailer should be out soon, and it's about a young boy who like ends up in gangs and stuff and knife crime, but then he gets saved. But I'm playing his young mom, but his
Amen.
young mom also has her storyline, which is very similar to my story.
It's called, what's it called again?
It's called Magnet, the movie.
Magnet.
Yeah.
Is there a release date?
Not yet. When the trailer will be out soon in the next few weeks, but there's not an exact release date yet.
Are we talking cinema? Or cinema or Netflix or something?
I don't know yet. I'm really not sure.
Okay, well, we wish you all the best with it, of course. Before
you.
you're a big star, can I have your autograph, please? Also, you've made lots of decisions in your life, okay? And I always ask this to the guests on the show, on the broadcast here. Of all the decisions that you have ever made, what is the best decision you have ever made?
Mine.
Yes.
My best decision, and it probably sounds cliche, you probably hear this every time you ask the question, but my best decision was the day that I gave my life to Jesus.
Excellent.
My life catapulted in a different direction from that moment. And I can, you know, people don't want to believe in God a lot of the time, and they don't want to believe, you know, sometimes when we try and read the Bible or preach to people, they don't want to know, but they can't argue with someone's story.
Amen.
And my story is real, and I know what He's done, and people around me can see what He's done as well. So it's just proof that He is real. And that's all I can say. My best decision was giving my life to the Lord.
Thank you, Chantell. And one more time before the ladies watching, can you show us your nails again, please? They're beautiful. Thank you very much, Chantell. And I'll hand back to Alan on that one. Thanks very much, Chantell.
Thank you, George. Thank you, George. And Chantell, that was absolutely wonderful. Been great having you on the broadcast tonight. Could listen to you all night sharing. It's so exciting. It's an exciting life living for Jesus. What an exciting life you've got now. So, yeah, it's wonderful. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. And thank you, George. Thank you, Howard. Thank you, all of you who've been watching and those who will watch in the coming days. Please, please do what Chantell said. Make that commitment to Jesus. Your life will be transformed. And again, if you need help, contact us on our phone line, +44 7943 550 287. Go to our website, LifeStoriesWorldwide.com. There you will get lots of information. You can find out about all the other stories that have been shared on Monday evenings in the past and what goes out at lunchtime on Life Stories TV. Lots of exciting things are happening. So please join us again next week at 8 o'clock next Monday evening on Zoom, Facebook, and YouTube to hear another life story. Next week, we've got a story by Henry Alonga. Henry was born in Zambia, and then for 2 years, he lived in Zambia and Kenya, then moved to Zimbabwe. He was in Zimbabwe where in school he got very good in athletics, but especially at cricket. His cricket coach encouraged him to play cricket, and he became a very good fast bowler. And when Zimbabwe got accepted as a test team, they needed a fast bowler. Well, Henry fitted that position, and he was the youngest player to play for Zimbabwe, the first black player to play for Zimbabwe. And then he had lots of things to share about what happened in Zimbabwe. So please join us next week at 8 o'clock. And again, thank you so much, Chantell. It's been wonderful having you on. Thank you, George. Thank you, Howard. And thank you all for being with us. May God bless you. May you have a wonderful week. May you know the joy of the Lord. And Chantell, I pray God will continue to use you in an amazing way to win many, many people.
LifeStories Live.